How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the best advice that you could probably get in RuneScape 3, or basically the best advice that people were given in RuneScape 3 in the past. We put out a community post on YouTube and we asked the people, what was the best advice another person gave you for RuneScape? Now, the people have commented below, the viewers have commented, and we have the advice given from those people now passed on to you as well. So hopefully this helps you out in any way whatsoever. There should be some interesting stuff in here. I haven't read through it yet, so it should be interesting for me too, but I hope you enjoy, and if you do, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you do like this sort of content, keep an eye out for the posts. They are fairly common, and you can get yourself involved in the next video too by commenting and seeing if you get picked. Alright, let's go. The first bit of advice says to never rush right into PvM when you first get started playing and hit the recommended requirements. It takes practice to learn bossing. Trust me, it took me ages to learn some of the now easiest bosses in RuneScape 3. Don't give up. Keep trying new ways to attack and you will succeed eventually. While looking back from the next tier boss, laughing at how much you really messed up just the simplest mechanics. This one's great, and it's something I've been saying for a while because I get this question like so much. It's not, in fact, not even a question. People will say something like, I'm giving up because I just can't do this boss and I've been trying and trying and trying and there's just nothing else I can do. And it turns out they've probably done about 30 kills, 40 kills, and they just can't do it. Now, I totally understand the frustration. I really do. It is a pain in the ass when this happens, and it can cause a lot of frustration. But honestly, when people were learning bosses, the people who are really good at bosses right now, the people who are like top tier PvMers, most of those people will have struggled at one point as well when they were learning bosses. They would have died loads to certain bosses, dealing with mechanics and stuff, and they would have hit a wall as well. Eventually it gets a bit easier because you're kind of used to how to deal with certain mechanics, and when new bosses come out, say now, because you've got experience in all the past ones, it makes picking up the newer bosses a bit easier. But when you're first getting into PvM, it takes a long time. Like, it took me ages, I've said this so many times now, that I must have spent about 6 months being absolutely useless at Telos. I couldn't get past 250%, I just could not do it. But in the same time, I just couldn't even like do 250% kills consistently. I could do like 1 in 3 attempts, I would actually get a kill, and I just couldn't get past that in Rage at all. It was the most infuriating thing ever, but I spent months of my time just doing this. Like, obviously I wasn't sat there 8 hours a day, every day, killing Telos for 6 months. It was probably like an hour like every other day or something, or not even like every other day, just every now and again going to Telos over the course of about 6 months. Eventually I got advice from other people, tips and stuff, watched some guides, and I did manage to like push my way up, and I can do Telos a lot better now. However, I still have a ton that I need to learn at that boss, and unless I went and spent more time dying over and over again, because I still die a ton. If I'm pushing in Rage there, I will die a ton. Like, it's just the way it works. So you have to realize that you always need to just take your time, and it is going to be like frustrating as hell. But don't give up, just keep going, and don't skip bosses. If you are maybe learning God Wars 2, don't then jump to Raksha. After God Wars 2, when you're comfortable with that, you want to do a Raxor and Calfight King, and then next, and then you want from next, you want to go over maybe to places like normal mode Kerapak or hard mode Outglacior, and then maybe move your way up to Raksha from there, and just sort of build your way up. Don't just skip stuff. Don't just instantly jump from, right, I've killed God Wars Dungeon 1, now I can kill Kriara, let's go and try Raksha. This is a big difference, and the bosses in between that, the low level bosses, teach you mechanics that will then help later on. So keep that in mind. Okay, next up we have a comment from Big Juice. Look at that juice carton, that's insane. The best advice is to not worry about all the meta setups and only sticking to the best way to do things, and to just do things the way you want to do them. This makes your experience so much more fun, and I have never gone back. So this will be subjective to your playstyle, of course, that's exactly how it's going to be, but this is really good advice, because I give this advice quite a bit as well. When someone joins my stream, for example, and says something along the lines of, right, I don't want to use 40 auto attack, but I only want to camp dual wield, and I want to use tank armor. And then they ask the question of, where should I put my roaming perk? I want to have it on my staff, but is that okay? Now, of course, this person, as you can probably tell from the example, doesn't really mind too much about not being the absolute fastest person possible at bosses. Like, if you get a slightly slower kill time than average, it doesn't seem like the sort of person that's going to be that bothered, because they don't sound like they're chasing the absolute fastest thing. If they were, they'd be doing the absolute best. It's like everything. They wouldn't be asking about like, I'm going to use tank armor and I don't want to do 4 ticking. They're not fussed about that sort of thing, or they're a learner, in which case put your roaming perk wherever you want to put your roaming perk. If you would prefer it to be on your staff, if that's going to make your life easier, then do that. If you are someone who is absolutely concerned about faster times and all you want to do is be the fastest person you can be, and you just want to improve and be better, then you should absolutely be looking up what the absolute best thing is, which is likely going to be a switch for your roaming perk. But that being said, If you are someone who doesn't want to do that, just don't do it. If you are someone who gets enjoyment just out of playing the game and just having fun, just killing the bosses, doesn't matter about the kill times, then enjoy yourself and do it whatever's going to make the game easier for you and whatever's going to make it better. If you are someone who gets enjoyment out of being the absolute best you can and pushing your kill times as far as possible, chasing personal records, because that can be a lot of fun too, depending on your playstyle, of course, then do that to get the absolute best in slot and then figure it out from there. Play how you want to. You don't have to follow everybody else. If you find something else fun, if you want to go and just play Castle Wars all day, every day on your own, then go and do that if that's what you enjoy doing. It's a terrible example, but you know what I mean. Our next comment is a very interesting one. It says, a bit of a weird one, but get Discord was advice I received as a RuneScape player from another player. It changed how I play and the enjoyment I get from it. Never would I ever be able to do things like Solak and hard mode Kerapak without a stable voice chat, open communities and so much more. So the advice I'd like to pass on is get Discord. This is really good as well, to be honest, and obviously I run a Discord server as well, so I can plug that in here. There's a link in the description if you want to join and get involved in that. But also it's really good because you can definitely do what they've said. You can get involved in group bossing and stuff, and you can have people help you out. There's so many times I can't even mention, like it's unreal for me to see my Discord server that I've grown from having just me and one person who didn't even play RuneScape in there when they made the Discord for me. Seeing people now in the actual channels talking to each other that have never met. They've literally just put in there saying, does anyone want to teach me how to do Solak? And then for the next hour or so, all I see is those two people just chatting away and they're learning Solak. It's great. One person's like showing their gameplay so the other person can learn, and they're explaining stuff. Like, that's unreal. It's great. So Discord is a great place to go to for learning and for getting in groups and for just meeting other people and enjoying the game as well. But then not only that, RuneScape has like its own sort of separate community outside of RuneScape, but on Discord. Things like the Solak learning community, or the PVME Discord, or loads of different things like the Boss School Discord, where they'll teach you how to do bossing and stuff like that. Like, so if you don't have Discord, maybe consider getting it. Even if you play on mobile, you can get it on your phone. There's probably a Discord for RuneScape Mobile as well. So yes, absolutely, Discord is a great thing to have when you're playing RuneScape, whether it's just for literally talking to friends or whether you're trying to learn and improve. It will be able to help you out in more ways than one. So we've got Jam back here with the great advice again. RuneScape shouldn't feel like a chore. It's a game we play to have fun. If you really don't want to do something in games, such as things like dailies, then don't do them. Now, let me tell you, I have never done player imports. I have never done it once. I have no interest in doing it, and I am coping just fine without it. Yes, if I ever want to comp, I will probably regret it, but I don't think I'll ever want to comp either, and I'm not going to. I'm 100% sure, to be honest, that I will never comp in this game. However, it's just not for me. Other people love it. Other people love doing all these sort of things, and they love making sure everything is as efficient as possible, but you don't have to do that. If you're someone who doesn't want to do dailies, like Jam said, you don't have to do dailies. I don't do my dailies either, unless I'm like, you know what, I'd like an extra treasure hunter key, or a little bit of extra experience for this. There's no other reason to do them for me personally, and so I just don't do them. Now, people will say do things like shop runs. Always do your shop runs every day, you'll make loads of money. Yes, you can do that and you can make loads of money, but if you don't enjoy doing shop runs because you find them boring and you don't have that long to play, don't feel like you have to do shop runs. I actually was speaking to someone ages ago at this point, but they were telling me how they don't really enjoy the game anymore because all they do is log in and it feels like they're just doing dailies. Like, they log in, they do the dailies, then they do the shop run, then they do the Viswax, and then they do the Reaper, and then when they finally are like, right, I finally caught up with all that, they have to log off because they have got kids, they've got like a family, they've got a job, full-time job, and they just don't have time to keep up with the game. I was just like, why are you doing dailies? Stop doing dailies. What is it that you want to do? When you finish your dailies, what would you be doing? Like, oh, well, I really want to learn this boss. And I was like, why don't you log in tomorrow and just learn that boss? Like, just learn the boss. Forget the freaking dailies, dude. Like, do what you want to do. Enjoy what you want to enjoy. If you need to do dailies because you need a goal, then do those every now and again. But don't just focus on that. Like, enjoy the game. You don't have to do all this stuff. You can just do whatever you want to do. That's the great thing about RuneScape. And you shouldn't feel pressured to do all these things that you don't want to do. Okay, so moving on to our next bit of advice, this person says, buy a gaming mouse with too much buttons on it, and yet it's not enough keybinds. Around 20 keybinds just on the mouse. So this person is talking about the MMO mouses. So the one with 12 buttons on the side, they have 1 to 12 on them, and then you can use Alt and you can use Shift as well, so you end up with a ton of buttons on them, and you can actually use these really well in RuneScape. They are really good and they help out a lot. I recently made a video talking about this mouse specifically because it's the one I use and a lot of people asked quite a lot, so I now just link them that instead. And the amount of people that have told me that they've bought a mouse because of that video and then told me that it's helped them out a lot. It made like switching easier, it made things like full manual a lot easier because because you have the keybinds right there next to you, like on your hand. It's really good. Like, it really is. It helps out a lot, and I don't understand how people play without them. Honestly, I really don't. But what I said in that video, and I'm going to say it again here, is if you are someone who does spend money on the game and you are looking for an upgrade into PVM, and you are someone who is maybe considering spending some money on bonds or spending some money on treasure hunter keys to get an upgrade, that way you can spend money on bonds, sell the bonds for money, and then buy yourself some upgrading gear, maybe this would be a really good investment to get instead. Getting a gaming mouse, if you don't have one already, will help out a hell of a lot with key bindings, with like ability rotations and making you use your defensives easier and stuff, because it's all there, really easy to use. So there is a link in the description if you want to see exactly what mouse I mean. There is cheaper options as well. You don't have to just go for that one. That's just the specific one I use, and I wouldn't want to recommend one that I don't have any experience with, because I don't want you to buy something and then it'd be absolutely crap and just cause you issues over time with it breaking the stuff. So I would absolutely not like to do that, but you can find them, and I wouldn't want you to think that that's the only one available when it's definitely not. But like I say, that's the one I use, so that's the one I'd recommend. But yeah, these are really useful and they can help out a lot. So if you are going to spend money on RuneScape, maybe spend money on something that works on more than just RuneScape as well, but it will help out a lot. So I was originally only going to make this a top 5 sort of thing, but you know what, this is too good, so this is a bonus one. You guys get a bonus one today, and it says don't be afraid to spend GP. So this is a really good one, and what this means is you should spend GP to make GP. So if you have the money and you're trying to do PVM, don't hoard up 2 bill, 3 bill. Spend the money if you need the upgrades. If you only have tier 80 weapons or something, then spend the money to get tier 90s. And then once you got the tier 90s, you can upgrade from there to tier 92s, tier 95s, and you can build your way up. But if you spend the money on things like the curses, the tier 99 curses, or getting 95 prayer, for example, and then spending more money on getting new abilities that work really well, they will speed up your kills, they will make things easier, they will make it so that you spend less money on like supplies and stuff, on food and on potions and all that sort of stuff, and you'll end up making a lot more money than you would have done in the past. So spend money to make money, don't just hoard it, because you could definitely have better use in other places that could give you a return on your investment. Okay, so that's going to be the last bit of advice from the community today. I know this was fairly short compared to the other community question videos that I normally do. I normally use like 9 or 10 comments, and this has only been about 6, but I wanted to try and keep it a little bit shorter, and especially since in this sort of thing, I can really talk. Like I can really sort of talk on and on and on and on and on and on. You know what I mean, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys watching know exactly what I mean. But anyway, if you did enjoy, leave a like on the video. I hope you found something useful in here. I hope you found something interesting. If you did and you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, as we do stuff like this quite a lot. The community helps other people out on this channel a hell of a lot when we do these sort of posts. Anyway, thank you all to the channel members for your extra support. Your names will be on screen as always, and it's always very much appreciated. If anyone else is interested in joining them, there's a join button by the sub button. Give it a click and you can see what perks you get. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.